with this. Now, let's talk about app development with generative AI, text to code, text to flow, text to app. How Gen AI can be leveled to convert plain, natural language, text descriptions into high-quality code suggestions, accelerating both pro and low-code development. And this session will be initiated by Davis NG, Director, Creator Workflows, ServiceNow APAC. Davis is Director, Creator Workflow Solution Consulting at ServiceNow APAC and has been with ServiceNow for 7 years. His team works with customers in Asia Pacific across various industries by innovating with ServiceNow's hyper-automation, low-code, no-code, and generative AI. He has over 20 years of successfully leading the development of digital transformation efforts in both the private and public sector. Can we please call upon Davis NG with a huge round of applause. Very warm welcome, Davis.
Thank you very much for the introduction. Actually, I know a little bit more about myself today as well from the introduction. And thanks for having me here as well. It's very fortunate for me to be traveling to India for the second time this year. And I've been here for 3 days. And this is my first public sessions, actually, presentation in India. So again, my name is Davis. I've been with the company for 7 years. I'm based out in Hong Kong, and I look after the APAC market from a solution consulting perspective. So my topic for today is actually how we could accelerate application development with Gen AI, generative AI. So there are a couple of things that I would talk about. And as a key takeaway, probably there are 2 things that you can look into that. If you are a ServiceNow customer already and you are using the platform, this will be a little bit of sharing of knowledge, which will be what is coming in the next 6 months, starting from September. And then if you are not a ServiceNow customer, you are not using the platform at the moment, maybe this is a sharing of insights into what ServiceNow could possibly do for your environment, for your organization as well. So as I mentioned, there are a little bit of forward-looking capabilities that I'm going to talk about today. So this is the reason why I have to put up this slide. And by all means, I have no intention to read it out to every one of you. So if ServiceNow is new to you, this is actually our founder, Fred Luddy. So he started the company about 20 years ago at 2004. And his mission is very simple. Actually, his vision is to build a cloud-based platform that makes ordinary, regular people who can create applications to route work in enterprise. So that is actually, at that time, 20 years ago, cloud is a very new concept. And then at the same time, citizen development is actually 10 years before it was born by Gartner. So this is how Fred started the company. I'm very fortunate to join 8 years ago in Hong Kong. And if I look at, for the past 8 years, there are a lot of things change in terms of how actually our customers use the platform. Certainly in every one of your organization, you will have different sorts of systems. ERP to support your finance, your supply chain, CRM to manage your customer relationship, IT systems, IT monitoring tools to help you to ensure that IT is running smoothly to support the business. And ServiceNow is in a very unique position where we are a digital workflow platform that helps to orchestrate, integrate, and automate in between these systems for people, for systems, and in the platform, there are 3 things that is very unique. One, we provide the intuitive experience for every user, whether it's employees, customers, or developers. Things could be built easily, things can be used easily. Within the platform, we provide the purposeful automation as well, so that we can integrate and automate in a much faster way with one data model and many tools. I always call it hybrid automation toolkit in a box, so that we can integrate and automate. And in the last but not least, the most important part is we provide the organization agility as well. Probably a very large number of us in here know ServiceNow as an ITSM platform, IT service management. But at the same time, we have a lot of pre-built applications that empowers employee workflows, that empowers customer supports, ERP, finance, and etc. And on the platform, you can also build your workflow, which I'm going to touch on that a little bit later. And everything that I talked about is actually built on the local platform on ServiceNow. And this is how exciting it could be. And if I look at across industry and across the entire enterprise value chain, these are some of the examples that I managed to populate on one slide. And these are just some of the examples. So some of them are built by ourselves through our engineering team. Some of them are built by customers like you. And some of them are built by our partners like Accenture, which present earlier on. And talk about artificial intelligence. Although Gen AI is probably a very hot topic for the last 12 months, but AI is actually something that is rooted back when I joined ServiceNow 7 years ago. We start acquiring a number of different companies on this timeline, and every one of them we are trying to bring two things. One is capabilities that we can put into our platform, we can re-platform it so that our customers can use it. And then at the same time, second thing is to bring our talents into the platform as well, from data science, from AI, from machine learning perspective. One of the important regarding Gen AI actually started in 2021. There is a company that we acquired called Element AI, and this is a bunch of data scientists and AI experts that most of them are in Canada, in Toronto and Montreal. And they bring in heaps of man years of effort on AI. And one of the very first things that when they were hired as ServiceNow employees, they started an internal project on how to leverage large language model for helping our internal IT. So they are exploring back in 2021 in terms of how to use Gen AI to create use case for workflows. And this is important because a lot of that becomes foundation from a talent and from the use case perspective. And this is the reason why in May, every year we have a very large global event called Knowledge in the States. And we announce our Gen AI strategy. So there are two things that we support in terms of large language model, which is the core of Gen AI. The first one is we support general purpose model, like OpenAI, Azure, and Google in the future. So if you're using one of them right now and you're using ServiceNow, that's a perfect combination on starting your use case. Time to value, time to market. The other part of it is probably a lot of us has heard about that as well, is ServiceNow start a partnership with NVIDIA and Accenture, which present earlier in the session. The whole intent is to build ServiceNow own data, own large language model. The reason behind is when we formed this strategy, we found out that there are workflow data that probably is safer and much more efficient and effective if we have our own data model. And this is the reason why we support both general purpose and domain specific. So what are the use cases? So obviously, this is still a very new area. And when we look at use case, there are a couple of them. So case summarization, understanding intent for conversation exchange, content creation, and language creation, and text to code as well for generating language for running application on top of the platform. So let me give you an example. So this is a screen, what we call workspace in ServiceNow. So a lot of users, when they serve workflows, so for example, a user talks about, I have an issue of my laptop, or I have a payroll issue. So someone in the company will actually use this workspace to help on the case. So in this case, it's a payroll case. So to the user, this is nothing related to Gen AI. This is a very intuitive experience, and I can understand who actually raised the case, what's the background, are there any recent case, and then what's the case status right now, what's the priority, and most importantly, all the details behind the case. Every single steps that we try to log from an investigation perspective through other teams, other systems, other applications. So over time, a lot of these cases could be very long dragging, especially if it happens for a period of time already. I'm sure every one of us will have these examples. The latest one I have is with my own bank on my home mortgage. So when I called up, or when it comes to reporting, a lot of times these agents or the team leader of the agents will spend hours in terms of preparing what we call a summary report. What Gen AI can help? We can leverage large language model to basically ask the model to summarize what happens within this case. Looking into every single detail of what happened from a description, from work notes, from long description perspective, and then afterwards create a summary for the user. We can use it on this workspace, and at the same time, we can use it for chatbot, virtual agent, we call it in ServiceNow platform, and we can use it for knowledge-based sharing as well. So the way we empower it is nothing really rocket science, leveraging summarization and content generation through Gen AI and large language model. So this is how we can build experience, awesome experience for different types of user. And that user probably includes developers as well when it comes to building these awesome experience. So these are some examples where we see use case in different types of workflows that we offer in ServiceNow platform, from customer perspective, employees perspective, technology perspective, and creator, developer perspective. So to give a little bit more examples for the rest of the session, I'm going to focus a little bit about how it could accelerate app dev. There are two scenarios that I'm going to show. One is probably a developer. So a developer could be someone who actually works on ServiceNow for quite some time, or could be someone who is new. So how could we leverage Gen AI to help developers like Eric to build something much quicker, faster? So this is a workspace experience, but now it's embedded in something we call UI Builder, User Interface Builder in ServiceNow. So this is where developers like Eric will use day in, day out to create new experience. So for someone who works on the platform for quite some time, the experience is really about drag and drop and defining new widgets in the workspace. And sometimes it's to create some scripting. But for new developers like Eric, let's say he wants to build something new. So what he can do is actually, okay, why don't I ask the platform to build it for me? And what he does is he asks something called Now Assist. That's the Gen AI engine that understands Eric's intention in terms of what he wants to build. So what do you want to build, Eric? Oh, I want to build a new analysis for my P1 cases, high priority cases for the last 6 months. And then what it does is the platform actually creates several options through Gen AI, and then Eric can actually choose which one is the one that he likes, text to code, and then drag it into the workspace. So it enhances the productivity for Eric as a developer. But it doesn't stop here. What the platform can do is actually, now that he understands Eric's intention is to build an analysis, probably an analysis will need to send to someone as well, the user, when there is an update, when there is new changes. So the platform will ask Eric, hey, by the way, do you want to create a notification for the user who are using this workspace as well, and there is new insights for them? So it automatically creates something called a flow, a workflow, and what it does is actually it sends notification to the user. So from a text-to-flow perspective, the platform actually create the flow for Eric, and then make the suggestion as well through something we call next best recommendation. So how we do that? How we do that is actually by understanding how this company is using ServiceNow at the moment in terms of integrating with other technology, and then from there to make suggestion to the workflow. So in this case, the platform understands this company actually use Microsoft Teams as well for collaboration. So instead of just sending email notification by default, it creates a recommendation to Eric and say, hey, do you want to post a message on Teams as well for this information? When I show it to a CTO from a financial service company in Hong Kong last week, immediately he jumped up and said, I want this, because I'm using Teams, I'm using ServiceNow for quite some years, and I will always want to connect them together. So Eric can easily, simply just drag and drop and create that. This is nice. So when it's done, then what Eric can do is, actually now I'm happy with what I want to change, and I just want to send it off from non-production development, non-production environment to my platform administrator so that he can start the rest of the testing and to deploy it into the production environment. So what we just saw in the last scenario, there are two capabilities that is very important. One is actually text to code. So what it does is it understands the ask from the developers through natural language, and then afterwards pass it into the LLM, and then from there to generate the code on ServiceNow platform. So it helps quickly onboard developers. So on the screen, we are seeing some examples. So it's not just in UI Builder. We can use it basically in every part that involves coding in ServiceNow development experience. So for example, right here, we are looking at business rules configuration. The other part of it, it's text to flow. So that is the part where I ask the platform to automatically create a workflow for me. So what it does is it provides the recommendation, and then it provides the environment that seamlessly works with text-to-code capability so that the code can automatically generate within the flow as well. So what we are seeing right now is just an experience of how that is being built, and I covered that in the last scenario. So in terms of Gen AI in helping app development, that is one aspect. That aspect is actually to help a developer like Eric. But then the other aspect, which I'm going to cover in the next 3 minutes, it's for everyone. Because if we want to actually accelerate development, apart from providing them the best tools, probably is to democratize the entire app development environment on ServiceNow for everyone, so that everyone can build using the platform. So everyone meaning someone who sits in a department, in the sales and marketing department or finance department, they have no programming skills, but then they have no development experience as well, but they can easily pick up the platform and ask questions so that the platform will build an app for her. In this case, will be Hillary. So how does it work? This is an experience called Employee Center. A lot of companies like Pepsi, they are using this for their corporate intranet. So every employee will use this very nice interface to look for information from an organization perspective. So for Hillary, what she wanted to do is actually she wants to create a request applications so that she can help her departments to take headshots for sales and marketing purposes. So what she can simply do is to just ask the question to Gen AI, Now Assist, how do I create an application for sales employees headshot? And then what it does, it's through conversation understanding, the platform will tell Hillary, hey, you can actually build one yourself using Creator Studio. So it takes Hillary to create a studio, and then afterwards, similar to the experience of Eric, but a lot more user-friendly, she can start asking questions about, hey, what I want to capture within the applications. I want names, I want emails, I want a photo, I want a schedule, a time, so that I can schedule the people to come in to take the headshots. And then from there, from a development perspective, what does the platform do? It simply create the data structure for this application. It also create a user interface as well, so that Hillary can actually start looking into the user interface, and then from there to make the modification that she needs. She can drag and drops, but also at the same time, she can just ask for additional things to be added in the interface. So things like, hey, I need to add title to this app as well. And I want to change a little bit of the experience. Since I'm working in the sales and marketing department, this very white background doesn't really fit with a sales and marketing app. So I want to pick up some cosmetic change to the application. All these could be done actually within the experience by just simply asking questions. And then once it's done, the app is created in non-production environment. It's not just the portal experience on the intranet, but also the mobile. And then the nicest thing about this is sometimes there is a lot of customers who tell me, hey, I start building apps, I start the citizen development, but it starts with the form, end with the form. I want to have workflow in it. I want to have that back-end experience to serve my user. And these are automatically created by the platform as well, such as the awesome workspace experience, so that when people are scheduling the workshops, Hillary can understand with full visibility on what's actually happening, who actually requests, which slots is available, and is there any VIP that has made a request, and I need to pay special attention through this workspace. So this is what we call a text-to-app perspective. And with that, there is one last thing that I want to share with every one of you. It's if we can go back to the very last slide. I think there are some QR codes on there. No, the very last slide. Thank you. Yep, before that. Yep, this one. Thank you. So this is my last two slides. So the last thing that I want to share as well is where to start. So a lot of capabilities that I talk about, it's generative AI today, the demo that I just shown. But a lot of the platform platform capabilities, it exists in the platform for many years. So my suggestion to anyone who wants to start looking into this is start looking into the platform. And yesterday, actually, my colleague Saurabh over here hosts a workshop, virtual workshop as well. And I think 500 of us actually joined the workshops to start building an app. So start with that at the bottom. In the middle, start understanding what OpenAI, what Azure does, what ServiceNow LLM capabilities can do. And most importantly, to understand the impact on data security as well. And if you are a ServiceNow customer at the moment, I encourage also to understand a little bit more about our platform data security. And then most importantly, we will start releasing these capabilities from September in the 4th week, all the way to November, and then in March next year. The reason behind is we are in a controlled release on these capabilities. So if you're an existing customer, upgrade to those latest release in your non-production environment, and then you can start enjoying using those capabilities. So my very last slide, I encourage everyone to take a picture of this, and I promise I will share this out as well through my LinkedIn and my colleagues' LinkedIn. These are 3 QR codes where I promise if you go into any one of them, it will give you heaps of information and wisdom from practitioners, experts, and from my colleagues, and you can start building stuff on the platform as well by just requesting a personal developer instance. So with that, this is my sharing. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Davis, for this insightful address. And can I please request Ganesh Sahai, CTO, Nagaro, to felicitate Davis.